Hi guys, good day everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today again. I'm very glad you guys are here. For those that have been following my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. And I welcome you guys to learn with Hydeetech. So today I'm here with a very important project. So over the years as an experienced web developer, the project I brought to you guys today is something that most times when you are working with big businesses that have a lot of services to offer to their users, you are going to need this project I want to present to you guys today. You are going to need this project I will be teaching you guys today. So what exactly is the project? It is how to create a drop-down menu. So we are going to see two ways which you can create drop-down menu, and I'm going to show you guys an example on a live site so you guys can see how this applies. So thank you so much. Without wasting much time, let's see what we can do. I hope you guys will find it interesting. Let's get it started. Alright, so as usual, we are going to create our project folder quickly, then we proceed from there. So we can name this drop down. Alright, so inside this drop down, okay, so let's just go to our VS Code. So another way you can open up your folder is to right click and open with code. So not everyone is going to have this. You are going to have this if you ticked this option when you are installing your VS Code. So let's see what we can do quickly. Alright, so our file is opened, then we can create our HTML file. So we can name this index.html. Alright, so without wasting much time, we are just going to add our boilerplate. Alright, by doing this, then you tap your enter. Alright, so here we are just going to say how to create a drop-down menu. Alright, that's fine. So inside our body, since you guys, maybe you guys don't know, but if you don't know, this is just the tip for you. So our menu and our logo do stay inside the header part of the website or of your web application. So the header is what holds, the logo and the menu. That is for some styles. So for some styles, the menu is not going to be inside the header. So but for this project, we want to be doing our logo and our menu will be inside the header. So unlike the previous videos where we've been adding main inside this body tag, we will not be making use of the main because because our project today will be is something that we need to add inside the header part of of the website. So we'll be using the header semantic tag, and this is what we'll be using for today. So inside the header, we are just going to add a div quickly. So this div is supposed to have a class. Let's give it a class of logo. Alright, so inside it, we are just going to add our image tag. So this image tag, let me quickly get an image, then I place it. Alright, so this is an image. I'm just going to take it straight to drop down. Alright, so I'm just going to create a new folder here to make sure we have our our files arranged called images. I think images should be better. Alright, so I'm just going to drop my logo here and we'll go back here. Then inside my source, I'm just going to put this images / Alright, that's fine. So alt, I can say my website logo. That is the alternate text. When your logo is not showing, this is what will pop up. So after this, then let's go straight down to let's add our navigations. There is a navigation menu. So we'll be making use of the nav tag, and inside the nav tag, we're going to add series of anchor tags. Then let's watch out for what I'm going to do in a part of the menu that is going to have the drop down options. So here we are just going to have home. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Alright, so the menu that is going to hold the drop down option is going to stay in between the about me and portfolio. So we are just going to start that by adding a div. We can give this a class, but for now let's hold on. So let's add our anchor tag. I can still drop this here. So this will be services. So you can give it any name you want to give it. It depends on what your project will look like. So under this, let's add a div. Let's add a div. Yeah, another div. Then we can add a class here that says, let's say menu or submenu. Yeah, exactly. So inside here, let's add other anchor tags. Let's add like 4 or 5. Let's add 5. So we are going to say, all right, I think this is cool. I think this is fine. Yeah, so that's all. So let's see what we've got first before we proceed. All right, that's fine. So this is what we have now. As you guys can see, we have our menu here and we have our logo here. So the next thing we're going to do is move down to, the next thing we're going to do is to create our CSS file. But before we go, let's just try to add a class here. Like I said before, so we can call this menu. Yeah, you can just call this menu. So after this, the next thing we can do here, okay, let's just add a route. That is the link. Yeah, so we can just do this. Then the next one, we don't have the file yet, so we are just going to, add it there to simulate a real life example. So services is going to stay web design. I'm just going to copy this, paste it here. You have graphics design. I'm just going to copy this, paste it here. Then you have software development. Okay, so UI, UX. Then here we are going to have mobile development. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, no, portfolio. Yeah, then let's move down to contact me. All right, that's fine. So the next thing we want to do now is to create our CSS file. Then we are going to do that quickly. So you can give it style.css. So don't forget, once we create our CSS file, we need to link it in our HTML file. Then I'm going to use the link tag as we've been doing to do that. So I think everything is fine. Then the first thing we want to do on our CSS file, just like we've been doing, is to remove the default margin. Remove any default margin that might be that might have been added by the browser. So after that, the next thing we want to do is to select our body. Then let's give it a background color. Yeah, background is going to work, but let's just use background color, and we are going to use F1. So let's see what we've got quickly before we proceed. All right, exactly. So the next thing we want to do here is go to the header. So we are going to be making use of the flex property here, to create our header layout. So the next thing I'm going to do here is add a display, set it to flex. Display set to flex. Then let's see what we've got first before we continue. All right, that's fine. All right, that's good. All right, so the next thing we want to do here is use the justify content. Then let's set it to space between. All right, that's good. So let's see what we've got quickly. All right, exactly. So the next thing we want to do here is to add padding. And I think okay, I do make use of percentage, since we are not really interested in the top and bottom, so we can just give that 1%, and we are going to have 6% here. Okay, so okay, let's stop here and let's check what we've done first before we proceed. Yeah, exactly. So the next thing we want to do, let's work on the logo. So yeah, we can just select the image straight, and let's reduce the width. I think the only thing we need to do is to reduce the width, and let's say 200 px. I think this should be nice. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I think this is okay for what we want to do. So the next thing we want to do is let's work on the menu. Let's work on the menu. Then, so we can select all the anchor tags inside the menu, and we're going to give it. So sorry, we're going to add some styling now. So the first thing we want to do is to remove the underline. So you can do that by text decoration none. Then after that, okay, let's see what we've done quickly. All right, so you can see that is gone. So the next thing, let's increase the font size. So we are just going to say maybe, let's say 17 px, and we are just going to add padding. Okay, maybe we should add line height, which might not necessarily very important, but we can just add it. Line height, so let's say 28 px, and let's say padding. So for the padding, okay, let's see what we've got now quickly. All right, so for us to see this clearly, I think I'm just going to disable. I'm going to turn this submenu into comments, so that we can style the menu, then come back to it later. All right, so this is what we are going to have, and let me go back here, and okay, maybe I should just add a font family first. So we can use let's say Canberra, and let's see what this is. So Canberra, this is not looking too good. So let's just change that. I think can we use impact? Let's use impact and see what's gonna give us. Oh, I think I don't like this font, so I'm just gonna pause this. Look for it. All right, so we can go with this font, which is Gale Sans. So I don't want us to go through the stress of getting an external font on Google. So let's just go with it. I think this is fine. This is okay. So the next thing we can add is to add padding, and here we can just say top and bottom to be, let's say 10 px. Then we can say 27 px. Let's try this and see. Alright, I think this is okay. This is just a test project, so I think this is fine. Then we can increase the size a little bit. Let's say 17. Let's see what we got. Alright, so that's okay. So you can see that this menu is somehow close to the top. It is not balanced on the vertical line. So how can we do that? Let's go back to our header style, and let's add this property, align items. Then we can set that to center, and we're going to see that our menu is now balanced on the center of this header. So the next thing we can do here is, let's add box shadow quickly. Let's add box shadow, and we can say 1 px, let's use 5 px, and maybe 660. So I think this should give us something. All right, exactly. So we can use this. And what else can we do here? I think we can just, okay, let's change the color to, let's say 5e. So let's see what we've got here. All right, so that's fine. And okay, the next thing we want to do is, let's add let's change the color on over. So when they over on each of the menu, we want the color to change. At the same time, we want to change, we want to, okay, let's set an active menu. You get such that the menu color will be different from the other menu color. So any active page will is going to have a different menu color. So to do that, let's just add a class of active here, since we will not be using JavaScript to control this now. So it's just a test product. So let's just add, it is a test project, sorry. So let's add a class of active here, then we can use it in our CSS. So we are making the home active since we don't have any other page yet. So we can just do this. Now so the nav, when you hover on the nav and the active, the color of the menu when you hover on it, on each of it, and the color of the active menu should be the same. So that is what we want to do. So we're going to set color, and let's just use blue. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to use the X code. I can, get another variation of blue. All right, so that's fine. So let's see what we've got now. All right, so you can see if I hover on this, color is going to change. Color is going to change. All right, so that's fine. I think we are done with the basic things for that. So let me go back here and remove this comment. Then let's see what we've got now quickly. All right, so you can see we now have our menu and submenu here. So the next thing we need to do is, let's see how we can arrange all these things to make more sense, such that whenever we hover on these services, then that is when it's going to display all these things. Or whenever we click on services, that is when it is going to display all these things. So the first thing is, let's hide all these menus here. Let's hide this this submenu, then before we proceed. So what we are just going to do is, we are going to use this submenu class to target the anchor tags here and hide them. So here I'm just going to say, submenu a. All right, so this should hide exactly. So we're having these services here because we've used div. So div is a block tag. It is going to make sure that services is staying alone, and since anchor tags are inline, since anchor tags produce inline elements, then this element can stay beside each other, and they will just be separate like that. So let's see how we can do this. We need to turn these services to an inline element before we continue. So the next thing we need to do here is, how can we target that? So let's see. Okay, so we can. All right, so here we are just going to select our submenu. All right, submenu. Exactly. So we are just going to set our position to absolute. All right, so before okay, to finally see this, I think we need to remove this. So let's just comment this out for now so we can see what we are doing. All right, so you can see. All right, so this is not actually, it is because this thing is very long, so that is why it is pushing this down. So let's see what we can do here quickly. So the next thing we want to do is, before we continue to style this, let's select all the submenu, so we can do that. I think this, I'm not sure this is correct, the submenu. All right, so let's see. Okay, exactly. So this is what we want to see. So let's just set display to block here, so that each of the submenu item will be standing alone. Yeah, exactly. So something like this. Now you can see that something is blocking this thing, which is the width. So we have a very small width, and we can actually enlarge. So we can go back to our submenu styling now. So we can add width here and say maybe 200 px. So let's see what it's going to give us. Let's see if this is okay. I'm not sure 200 is okay. So let's just add to it. I think 300. All right, maybe 300 is okay, but let's see. Let's check if it's okay. And how can we know? Let's just add a border around it so we can finally see. Or let's make it box shadow. Okay, or maybe a border is going to make sense. So we can insert that solid CCC. All right, this is it. I think 300 is way too much again. Maybe we can try 260. I think 240 should be better. All right, maybe we can reduce it further. All right, I think that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So another thing we can add here is border radius, just to add few designs. And this is going to be, let's say, 5px. Yeah, I think this is cool. All right. So the next thing we want to do here is to ensure that this menu, let's push it down a little bit. Let's push it down a little bit. It's too close to this services menu. So we are just going to use our top property here. Then we can set that to 27. Okay, let's use px, see what it's going to do. All right, so we can adjust this further. All right, so 50, yeah, okay. So I think we can add more to that, 70. All right, so before I make it, I think we can just, okay, let me take it back a little bit. All right, I think that's fine. So here we can actually also add a background color. All right, I can see where the problem is coming from. And let me finish with this. All right, so we can do this. All right, bravo. All right, so you can see we now have our submenu here, but you can see this is not really functioning as a submenu because it is not hiding, it is just there, it is static. And how can we make it behave exactly like a submenu? So the first thing we want to do is let's add field styling to the submenus. So what we can do here is to add a border bottom precisely, let's say 1px, and solid, yeah, almost the same as the one we added before. All right, exactly. So you can see what we have now. So I think this is okay. So the next thing is to implement what is going to make it a submenu. So let's go back here. Let's hide this. Sorry, let us uncomment this. Then let's see how we can, select. Okay, if we go back now, oh really? This is not hidden. Something is wrong. All right, so what you need to do here is to ensure that it is this submenu that is set to display none. So we can just bring it down here since, all right, so we can bring it down here, set it to display none, and you leave it that way. So we know that the first type we want to use is whenever you hover on these services, then the submenu should be displayed. You get, so that is the first thing we want to do. So how can we do that? Let's see how we can do that. So which means whenever they put this, then we are going to set the display to, whenever they hover on this, we want to set the display to what? To block. So then all you just need to do is to ensure that let's select the div with a class of menu. Then on over, we want to select the submenu. Yeah. On over, then on submenu, all you just need to do is to display, set display to, let's say block, and see what's going to happen. All right, so can you guys see this? Can you guys see it now? So whenever you hover on this, it is now going to display the submenu. So if you check a site, okay, I think we need to adjust the top value here, so it can always fit. That is for this, we need to do that. But for the second method, we don't need to. So we are going to see the second method together. All right, so this is fine. This is fine now. So can you see that? Can you see this? So you can use this in your project as well. So this is a very nice, thing to create as a practice project. So can you see? All right, so this is just one of the methods. Let us look at the second method. So the second method is not just CSS. We are going to be making use of what? JavaScript. In fact, we'll just be writing few lines of code to implement this. So let's see how we can do that quickly. So we are going to be we are going to set this to, we are going to comment this out just to ensure that the code is not running and every other thing is still going to be fine. So because if we leave it running, then we are going to be having two functionalities or two same features on a particular menu. So which will not make sense because we might not know the one that is working between the two features. So let's see how we can implement that. You can see now that the submenus are not showing again. So let's see how we can actually implement the, you can actually implement this same feature using JavaScript. So the next thing we need to do here is to create this JavaScript file. Then after doing that, inside your HTML file, the next thing you need to do is, okay, let's add our script tag here quickly. Then inside the source, we are just going to set this to script. So you can see we can just select this quickly. So let's test if our JavaScript file is connected truly. So the way I do that is just to alert. So let's just alert connected, and from there we can continue with what we have for today. So I'm just going to remove this. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it is working already. So you can see. Oh, why is it not saying? Okay, I'm not even connected. Yeah, so this should work. All right, connected. That's fine. So let's go back to our work and let's see how we can do this quickly. All right, so the first thing we want to do is let's set a variable. Let's select, let's select our elements, and we're just going to come here. The first one we want to select is this div with a class of what? Menu. So we can say let menu equals document.query selector. So we'll be selecting that using the class. So we're just going to say menu. All right, so the next one is to select the submenu. So which is this here. So this div here, we want to select this div here. So we can just call this submenu wrapper. Okay, submenu wrapper. So we can select that query selector. Then we are just going to have okay, submenu. All right, so we are selecting both of them using the class that we've added inside it. So the next thing we want to do now is to implement a function so that it is to implement a functionality such that by the time you click on this menu, then it is going to ensure that this submenu opens up. So I hope you guys understand that. So let's see how we can do that quickly. All right, so we are just going to say menu. So we want to add the click event listener here. So now it is not going to function as when you hover on it. It is when you click on it that it's going to show, and when you click on it again, it's going to hide the submenu. So let's see how we can do that. So we are just going to add the click event listener, and just say click here. Then you can add your anonymous function. Or your callback function, sorry. So we can add our event property here. Then inside this place, the first thing we want to do is, because if you look at this place now, if we should click on this thing now, you will see that you will see that this link here functions as a normal anchor tag. So when you click on it, let's say we've linked it now, it is going to be linked, and it can, you know, it can navigate to another page entirely. So the first thing we want to do is to disable, you know, the default behavior of this anchor tag, of this particular link. You get? So how do we do that? So we can just say, you know, events dot, we want to prevent default. So you can just do this, and that should work fine. So let's see. I think we need to add. All right, so the next thing we need to do now, after ensuring that this does not function as an anchor tag anymore, is to select the submenu wrapper. So we want to ensure that whenever you click on that services, then it is going to display the submenu. So how can we do that? So we can use submenu dot class list. We can use a class list method to achieve that. Then we can now say toggle. So we want to toggle it. What this is going to do for us is that it is going to create a function such that by the time you click on it once, it will add a particular class, and if you click on it again, it is going to remove it. So what we are just going to put here is submenu. So let's try this quickly and see if it's going to work. Oh, all right. So what we are going to do here is, because this is actually causing an issue, because this submenu style is not just, we have a submenu here and we have another one here. So it is going to apply all these things at the same time, and by the time you click on it again, it is going to remove it. So what we want to do here is, let's add this sub class, so to be the one that is going to hide, you know, the submenu. Then we can now come back here and ensure that we add this sub class here too. So we can now use this sub in our JavaScript instead of using this submenu. So what has just happened here is that if we should use submenu, it is going to look for submenu class in this CSS file, and by the time we click on it once, it is going to apply all the styles that you have inside the submenu. That is all the styles we've added to the submenu class, and by the time you click on it again, it is going to remove all the styles that we've added for the submenu class. So for which we don't want to remove, you know, all these styles that we have here. The only thing we want to do is to ensure that we just want to hide and, you know what, display it. So now let's go back to this place, and, you know, let's leave this sub, then go back to our web page and see if this actually solves our issue. All right, so that's fine. So you can see that our issue has been solved. So you can see we've been able to use two ways to create a submenu. This last way of using the JavaScript is very, very, you know, good, but I'm going to show you some examples of websites that use you know, I'm just going to show you two websites, you know, that makes use of these two examples, or these two features I've just showed you guys. So the first one is Gokada website. I think gokada.ng, and we're just going to look at another one. I think any random website is going to give us that. So let's just see wooglehost.ng, and let's see. If you're my student and I've taught you before, then you should know that I like to give these Gokada sites and Wooglehost websites as a practice project for you to do. So I just like the two sites. They have different things that you can, you know, that you can just practice, that you can use to practice, you know, after learning layouts and some other things in CSS before moving to JavaScript. So let's see. The first style is the one you guys are seeing here. So you can see whenever I hover on this business menu, it is going to display this submenu for us. So you can see what has happened. You can see what has happened here. So this is an example of the first feature I showed you guys of how to create a submenu. So let's see this website. So you can see I've been hovering on this hosting, but it is not showing anything. If I click on it, you can see it is now going to display all these things for me. If I click on it again, it is going to disappear. So that is, you know, these are just 2 examples. If you continue to surf the internet, you are going to find websites that make use of, any of these 2 features I just taught you guys. So thank you so much. Thanks for following. I hope you guys have learned something interesting. I hope you guys have learned something new. I'll see you guys next week with another interesting project. I plan to release another video on ChatGPT this week, but because of time, because of work, I've not been able to do that. So maybe next week I'm going to do that, just to give you guys, just to let you guys know what ChatGPT really is and the latest information on ChatGPT. If you find this video informative, kindly like the video, drop your comments, and please make sure you share it with your friends, so that they can also learn with Hydeetech. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week with another interesting project. So thank you. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye, and have a wonderful week ahead.